The secret war started way back in the very beginnings of communism. Actually, Laos was more important to the U.S. government before Vietnam. It was considered a key central area in Indochina to stop the spread of communism. And actually, they started to look at that before they even looked at Vietnam. And in April 6, 2006, there had been a massacre, an alleged massacre in the mountains. I went up there and documented it. Allegedly, 26 Hmong were gunned down by the Lao Army while they were foraging for food. You talk to some, guerrilla warfare experts, and many of them regard the Hmong as perhaps the best guerrilla fighters in history. They always cut a new path everywhere they go, and they're totally adapted to the jungle. They're just like a panther. When I went into the jungle, I met a young guy named Tong Fang, and he had a silver coin that he or his wife was wearing the day that the massacre occurred in April 2006, the massacre I went to investigate. And the bullet had actually pierced through the French coin. It was an old, solid French silver coin, and he held it up into the camera. And apparently, his wife, he had been protecting his wife that day, and she died in his arms. And I've got pictures of him laying on her grave, holding up her clothing with bullet holes in it. I mean, just cried endlessly. There was just so much raw emotion coming out of him. But he had been wounded that day as well. And I don't know what's happened to him. I hope he's okay. I don't know if he surrendered or not. If he did, I certainly hope that he's being treated well. In the past 2 years, Thailand's repatriated about 400 Hmong. Only 53 of them do we know anywhere where they're at. The rest, the 350, we're not sure what's happened to them, where they're at, or what, if they're alive or dead. And approximately another 1,800 have come out of the jungles in the past 2 years and surrendered inside Laos. We have no idea what's happened to them. They've disappeared as well. And it's a terrible feeling. I want to help them, but there's nothing anyone seems to be able to do. The Lao government won't cooperate, and it won't provide any evidence of where these people are or how they're being treated. When I finally found them, or they led me to their village, I met Bliashua Her, and I met his son Tong Her, who stuck out, because half of his face was just missing. It was completely shot off, allegedly by the Lao Army. I was just blown away that these people would still be hiding in the mountains of Laos, fighting the remnants of the Vietnam War 35 years after the fact. And, they were very, very close to, living on the edge of starvation. The problem is when they get chased, then it's very hard for them to gather enough food, and that's when they really run into food problems. This is a key part of American history that most Americans know nothing about, and it's quite embarrassing because we're repeating a lot of the same mistakes in Iraq now. And, we're probably going to abandon a lot of allies in Iraq if the politicians throw in the towel, which is what they did to the Hmong. It wasn't the Army or the CIA that abandoned the Hmong. It was the politicians in Washington trying to save their jobs and not trying to own up to their responsibility to these people.